We are coming to the end of the murder trial for Carly Gregg that's happening in Brandon, Mississippi. She's a teen who's accused of fatally shooting her mother and attempting to kill her stepfather. So the most important thing inside of this courtroom is whether or not she was insane at the time that this happened or not. The defense says she was suffering from a mental illness and a psychotic break. Let's go back into the courtroom now. The state is in their rebuttal case, so they are coming against everything we heard from the defense about the mental health of the defendant, and they now have a psychiatrist on the stand, someone who can rebut what we heard from Dr. Andrew Clark for the defense. This is Dr. Jason Pickett.
Dr. Pickett, if you would introduce yourself, please.
Hey, my name is Jason Pickett, P-I-C-K-E-T-T. I am a board-certified psychiatrist. I am a board-certified emergency physician and a board-certified forensic psychiatrist.
So I want to break that down one at a time. Tell us about you are a board-certified psychiatrist, what that means.
That means I did a residency in psychiatry. I did it at the University of Virginia, and I treat patients with mental illness, anxiety, depression, OCD, PTSD. I work at the North Mississippi State Hospital where I see patients who've been committed to the state hospital. Most of my patients have a serious mental illness, which is typically schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, schizoaffective disorder, things like that.
As a emergency medicine physician, can you describe for us what that is?
Yes, as an emergency physician, I work in the emergency department and I treat emergencies, so stroke, heart attack, car wrecks, psychosis, acute, altered mental state. Patients are brought in by police, paramedics, family, so whatever can walk in the front door.
And we heard from Dr. Gugliano earlier about what a forensic psychologist does, but what is it that a forensic psychiatrist does?
So a forensic psychiatrist, we do a lot of the things that a forensic psychologist does, but we also have the expert experience from residency dealing with and prescribing medications. So we're better qualified to consider medications and how they may benefit or harm somebody related to, in a forensic realm, it's related to maybe a crime or competency to stand trial, sanity at the time of their mental state at the time of the offense, and such. So
I want to talk about, kind of back up before you got your certification and talk about if you could give us the benefit of your educational history.
Yes, so I went to Mississippi College and have a bachelor's from there, a master's degree from there. Then I went to the University of Mississippi Medical Center for medical school. Then I stayed at the University of Mississippi Medical Center where I did a 3-year emergency medicine residency, completed that, and immediately after finishing that, I went to Virginia and started a second residency in psychiatry, completed that, worked as an emergency physician throughout that training, periodically here and there as much as I could. And then I did a 1-year fellowship after completing the psychiatry residency in forensic psychiatry where I stayed in Virginia. And that included 2 days a week I would go to the state hospital in Virginia where I would see patients pertaining to competency and sanity. And then 2 days I was at the ILPPP, it's the Institute of Law, Psychiatry, and Public Policy, where there's a lot of forensic psychologists and we work on forensic cases together. And then 1 day a week I would go down to the women's prison and see patients there as typically a general psychiatrist, but it's in a correctional setting. So.
And when you're doing this fellowship, you're actually already licensed to practice medicine.
Yeah, to some degree. I have my MD. You get that when you graduate medical school. So I had that throughout my ER residency and my psychiatry residency and my forensic fellowship. And I was moonlighting as an ER doctor while I'm doing the second residency and fellowship just to pay some bills. But so yeah, I was able to practice medicine throughout all that.
Do you have to take a test or get any kind of certification before you can be a forensic psychiatrist?
Yes, you have to do a one-year fellowship, which you have to apply for. In the state of Virginia, they only take one applicant a year, and fortunately I was blessed enough to receive that position, which was an honor, and I was very thankful for my training there. Then after completing that, you have to take a board certification, which is expensive and takes a lot of time and money, but I did it and passed, and I'm happy.
And where is it that you're licensed?
We would accept him as, I think they're wanting to have him as an expert in general psychiatry, forensic psychiatry, and emergency
Medicine.
medicine. We don't object to that.
All right, he'll be admitted as an expert in the area of general psychiatry, forensic psychiatry, and emergency medicine. You can continue with your questioning about the witness's qualifications if you wish.
No, sir. No need for that. Dr. Pickett, I do want to ask about this. Prior to being involved in this case, have you had the opportunity to perform mental evaluations of defendants?
Yes. In my fellowship, I had, on the forensic unit at the state hospital, by definition with the forensics, most of them had some kind of criminal or some kind of crime related to their mental health. And so I would evaluate their competency to stand trial to see, do they understand? Do they meet all the qualifications and such? So yes.
And we heard Dr. Gugliano talk about there's a list in the state of Mississippi of forensic either psychologists or psychiatrists that are certified to perform these types of evaluations through the Department of Health. Do you know, are you one of those?
Yes, I am.
And how many forensic psychiatrists are there in the state of Mississippi that have gone through the qualification to perform the mental evaluations through the Department of Health?
I don't know how many have gone through the process because you do have to apply and go through those credentials. In my opinion, would be qualified if they wanted